All right, the special event for Formula E 2021 season is now available. First one takes place at New York City Circuit. And as you can see, we got 10 days still remain to initiate the 5-day countdown, or you're given 5 days to complete 5 stages. Pretty short event, as stage 1 only has 3 goals. Stages 2 through 4 has 4 goals each. And then the final 5th stage has 5 goals. So that is total of 20 goals. And obviously they take place all at New York City Formula E circuit. And let's see, in terms of PR requirement, well, it varies depending on your base PR of the car or the team you choose. So as I've kind of gone over in the car choice video prior to that I posted a couple of days ago, they're basically divided into 3 groups. The top tier PR56 base PR cars, there are 3 teams. You got Mercedes, you got Nissan, and DS Techeetah, right? Those 3 teams start at the higher PR, and their strength is the highest top speed of 245 kph, and also the better of the 2 braking distance these cars feature, 26.8 meters. And their weakness is slower acceleration. In fact, the slowest acceleration, 2.99 seconds. And the grip is the lower part. I mean, they're pretty similar, but they're only 2 tiers. And it's on the lower tier, 1.36 G, right? And maybe we should look at the cars while we were talking about it. So, anyway, since we're talking about PR requirement, which is directly related to the tuning setups, right? So, what was the final PR requirement? If you start with the top tier PR, base PR team, starting at 56, your final PR requirement is going to be 62.8. Right. And if you start with the mid-tier team, PR 55.9, so 0.1 PR point lower, I believe the final PR requirement is going to be lower by 0.1, so 61.7. And then if you start with the lowest tier PR team, 55.8 base PR, your PR requirement to win the car, complete the event and win the car is going to be 62.6. Right, makes sense, right? So, reason for that being, of course, the fact that they don't want you to choose a team and a car based on how much it's going to cost, because the cost is going to be the same across the board. I guess that's the point there. So, anywho, reward wise, of course, you get to win a new car. That's always nice. And you don't, it's like NASCAR and Formula One events, where you don't necessarily have to pick the car at the end of the event, the car that you raced. So, I mean, I wouldn't advise that way, since you are, when you're racing a car to run through these events, you're accumulating certainly the driver XP, and by getting those tuning setups, your team principals gaining team principal XP. So those, if you pick a different team, you would basically waste all that. So I would advise against that. And if you're uncertain about which team to choose, I would say better place to check that out is checking it out in the time trial competition that's currently going on. I know it's a different circuit, it's at Berlin, but I think it's you'll still get a better idea on how each car handles, really the three different ones, right? So let's see. And rewards wise, yes, there's 50 gold, which you can net, because to meet the PR requirement, you don't need to spend any gold to meet the PR requirement if you don't want to. Meaning you will obviously have to spend more in motorsport dollars, but since those are easier to earn than gold, I would say if you can do it, I would say go with motorsport dollars. And let's see, the tuning cost. How much does it cost to meet the PR requirement? It will cost you some 2.2 million motorsport dollars. So to be exact, it's going to cost you 2,204,500 motorsport dollars. Basically, you need to max out the gearbox mapping, all 5 tunings there, and you also need to max out the power unit optimization, all 6 of them. And then brakes, you don't need all 9, but you would need at least 7. And suspension, you need 6 out of the 7 or 8 steps that's available on this car. So right, so that would basically cost you 2,204,500. You do get 250,000 of it back as a reward, not the race earnings, but just the reward. And by just running through the race events, the event itself, all 5 stages, your earnings not gonna be quite 250,000. So you can actually run through this all in one day, basically. You are not gonna go over the 250,000 motorsport dollar cap, because you would be, I think, earning 190 range, somewhere between 190 and 200,000 motorsport dollar range. That'll be the actual race earning. And the event itself, I think this event takes maybe slightly over an hour to get through. If you are quick about it and just run through as quickly as you can, you probably can wrap it up in about an hour. But of course, when I'm making videos, I let all the screens roll right through. Yeah, I know. What can I say? I think they look cool. Anywho, so it generally takes me a little bit longer when I'm making videos for these. Anyway, so I anticipating maybe hour and a half if you go slow, right? But you should be able to complete it all in single setting. And that's important because once you start the event, there is, yes, 3-hour instant service and instant tuning available for 3 hours, yes. Now, in terms of other cost and winnings, let's see. Stage 1, skipping cost is 10 gold per goal. Stage 2, 20 gold per goal. Stage 3, 30 gold per goal. Stage 4, 50 gold per goal, and once you get to the final stage, stage 5, first 3 goals have 80 gold per skip, with a PR 61.4 for the top tier cars. And then the final 2 goals of the final stage will cost 120 gold to skip each. So don't skip. That's getting pretty pricey. Now, the fame points that you earn for running through this event would be around just under 10,000 fame points. So your earnings not that great, but Formula E events are pretty short, so it's kind of given. Driver XP, expect to earn about 57 to 5800 driver XP. Now, driver XP it varies depending on the distance that you cover per goal, because not every goal is set length that you have to race. I believe you get higher pay if you race cleaner and if you race longer. So there's some variance there. And as I said, the motorsport dollar earning from the race itself is going to be around 190, 200,000 motorsport dollars. So let's check in and talk about the actual teams. Right. If you've been using a particular team to already kind of got started on earning the driver XP from the time trial competitions, then my recommendation would be to stick with that team. But for whatever reason, if you didn't like it, if you found a different team, or if you're still looking around, then you still got 10 days. Although I would say winning a car, not so much winning a car, but winning a tuning setup from this event will help you get higher rank in this the current New York City, or actually Berlin time trial competition, easier to get higher ranks there. So so try to, if you know what you want and if you can afford it, go for it. Now, if you want to earn if you don't have any motorsport dollars in your bank at the moment, it will take you 8 days to earn enough to be able to afford all the motorsport dollars necessary to meet the PR requirement, right? So that's something to keep in mind. But I'd be impressed if you somehow managed to bring your motorsport dollar bank to zero, like exactly to zero. That's, in a strange way, very impressive. But anywho, teams, right? So top tier teams, we got Mercedes, right? And then we got Nissan, and we got DS Tachita. Where are ya? There, diagonally crossing over. So those 3 teams have the highest PR, as I said. And then the mid tier, there are 5 teams. We'll start at the top. We get the Beamer. And the mid tier team, their strength is the higher grip and the quickest acceleration, right? 2.96 seconds for the very quick acceleration, and the higher grip of 1.37 G. Their weakness is the lowest top speed, coming in at 240 kph, and the longer braking distance than the competition, 27.1 meters. So yeah, rely more on your precision of hitting apex, so more technical racers will like this mid-tier cars, I think. But the top tier cars are definitely more forgiving, having that higher top speed. So even if you come out little slow on the apex, you can make up for it down the long straight. See what I mean? So, because going down straights usually does not require a whole lot of skill, right? So that's where the top tier cars come in handy. So we got a Beamer for this mid-tier, more technical racers. We got Jaguar, and we got Audi, and we got Porsche. Where are you? Take your Porsche, and finally the last team in this tier, Envision Version Racing. So those 5 teams are gonna be for those who prefer more technical racing, I guess. And then even though the remaining 4 teams fall in the lower bottom PR, 55.8 bottom tier base PR, I feel like performance wise it's more of the middle of the road, because yeah, the top speed is higher than the mid-tier team, and the acceleration is not as slow as the top tier team, and the braking distance is stronger. Grip is not as strong, so I feel like it kind of puts them more in the middle. Anyway, who's in that team or in that category? Well, we got Dragon Penske Autosport, and then we got the Neo 333 Formula E team, and we got Mahindra. Where are you, Mahindra? There. Right. And Rocket Venturi. Right. So those are the 3 groups of cars featured in this event. So currency pack, nah, I'm good. I gotta check which team I was using. I forget. On this account, I believe I was going with Mercedes or the Rocket Venturi. Let's check. Yeah, I was going with the Rocket Venturi, so I'll probably stick with the team. And yes, it is the bottom tier team, but that's okay. So anyway, we'll probably make a separate video for the playthrough, but this was just a quick series overview of the special event, the New York City E-Prix 2021. So stay tuned for the actual playthrough coming right up. So see you guys in the next video.